Hey everyone, I'm Klloo, and welcome to the data pack Runechant, A World to Discover, a massive survival data pack filled with magic and mysteries. Experience new seasons as you traverse different biomes, craft and cast powerful spells, enhance your weapons with new forms of brewing, or gain different abilities through trimming equipment, which has also been extended to weapons and tools. With 8 new advancement tabs to pursue, come experience a whole new world. The data pack is finally at a state release, so no better time to start playing and preparing for more endgame content to come. You can find the pack on Planet Minecraft or Moderate, or of course in the links down below. Wow, hello. So, bit of a dilemma, so I thought I might as well ask. So we are doing another little bit of a talky one today, but that's fine, right? So, the dilemma that we have is Elton, who has pointed out something, but how do we go about fixing it? That's the question. So, Elton, thank you, as always. And with that in mind, there's something I want to say first, which is suggestions, features, balancing, patches, bugs, anything, right? It's all more than welcome. This is a build as we go type pack, right? I don't have a specific idea in mind. I've just been putting in stuff that I think is cool, right? While there is a overarching direction, I want to say, it is still pretty much, if you got an idea, let me know, right? Doesn't hurt. And if it's easy to implement, I'll implement it. But yeah, so Elfin has pointed out the multiple uses of certain items, right? So my philosophy when I was building the pack is anytime I add in a custom item, I want it to have multiple functions, right? I don't want it to just be dead as soon as it's served its main purpose, because a lot of the items in Minecraft have that functionality, right? Once you've utilized them for whatever their main means is, then they're just another item. So I didn't want that. I wanted them to be something usable, and the simplest one that came to mind was experience bottles. So that's why a lot of the items are experience bottles. The idea being that although these are collectible resources, resources that you might want to use in the pack, at the end of the day, if you don't need them, you can cash them in for experience. But the problem from that stems in some of the other functionalities that I have added to the pack, and maybe even functionalities of other packs you might come across. So, for instance, physical arts, right? We have where is it? There we are. We actually have the ability to trim items with bottles of experience, which means that any item that is a bottle of experience can be used. Similar goes for nether stars, right? There are 3 actually problematic items. Also, does anyone else have this bug, right? If I am in non-full screen, mouse is there, it's all fine. I go to full screen, mouse disappears, and it is super annoying. But yeah, so nether stars, enchanted books, and experience bottles. Right? These are 3 items that I have used for a few different things to serve multiple purposes. Now, the enchanted book oversight, definitely in my mind, right? Definitely a bug. Because obviously you can use a grindstone to turn them back into normal books, which means there are a ton of items that you can convert to books. And that is definitely weird when the base item isn't a book. So for instance, what is an enchanted book? Okay, here's the weirdest one, right? So the empowered metal is a nether star. The enchanted metal is a enchanted book. Now, the reason for that was it doesn't stack. I didn't want to stack. I wanted to take up a full inventory slot, right? But obviously converting that to a book is a bit weird versus something like the actual books, right? The big books here from the library. They are enchanted books, so it sort of does make sense that you can convert it to a normal book if you grind away the extra layers, kind of. But nether star is probably the big one. Since nether stars are used for beacons, I didn't really care, right? The whole objective of this is to sort of push the baseline of Minecraft forward, because Mojang has had the attribute system for millennia now, and they have never once utilized it. Loud car. Back to it, right? So they've never utilized the attribute system, so that was the first thing I implemented, right? All the trimming, you get extra attributes. We're increasing that baseline. So having a beacon, having those potion effects more readily available isn't a big deal, because I'm going to buff mobs, right? Mobs have access to their own ways of getting, generic buffs, better abilities. So altogether, I want the baseline of the game to increase. So with a beacon, there's only certain effects that you can gain off of it and certain levels. So it didn't matter to me if you had earlier access to a beacon, easier access to a beacon. But there are other packs that probably want to keep the nether star rare. So that one's a definite, we got to rework it. We got to change it.
question is what to? Now, the easy out that Elfin has suggested, although I can't actually use that, is to use items that in survival you can't place, you can't get, you can't utilize. So for instance, if we grab ourselves a jigsaw block, we as a creative player can utilize it, can place it on the ground, right? Access it, access the GUI. But if we were in survival, it is a block, it's not placeable, right? There's no animation, so it still functions as an item in this sense. There is a few problems that I run into in that scenario. For one, the biggest thing, if I do make these changes, right, and this is what I'm trying to ask, is do you think I should, is that would basically break the pack for a version, right? If you update to the new version, I can very easily clear all your inventories of the nether stars, the experience bottles, right? That would simply be, clear item, nether star, and then I set the actual custom model data, right? Problem is converting it to what it should be. That is where it becomes a headache, because I'd have to look through the exact lore, pull them from the loot tables, pull them. I don't have a master spreadsheet because, again, I've been adding things as I go. Again, I'm not a coder. This is my first go. Nothing has been done efficiently, right? So while I can set custom model data and do this to clear items, giving them back to the player, converting them to their new state is going to take a lot more work. That's really not worthwhile because, again, it's beta. So I'm glad this is the first time we're actually getting to a irreversible point where you can't use the previous version, you can't take anything with you. But it is still a big change that isn't extremely necessary, right? I can change some items and have less of an impact. I can just change the more easy to access items, but keep some of the other items that are nether stars. I can keep all the experience bottle items because, again, this is more of a personal preference, right? My problem from my perspective is I've obviously built the pack, so I know every item that's an experience bottle, and therefore I know, well, I can use it as experience, right? Accidental right click for everyone else, but purposeful right click for me. So while I don't mind, I can understand where it does become an issue. Now, the way I'd rather fix this, in all honesty, is just make it more accessible, right? Make your ability to gain these resources a lot more accessible. I have no problem upping, say, experience costs and making the player utilize experience. I mean, echo shards in themselves, these shards of power, which are used for a lot of end game crafting, each one of them requires 30 experience anyway, right? So that's already a giant XP sink. So I don't care about giving the player a ton of experience bottles. Now, Alpin, the perfect suggestion they had was I can convert the items to something else, but then have a way to cash them in for experience, which is a fantastic solution. I'm going to have to actually give them another splash on the home screen. They already have one, some previous stuff, but I guess they're more than deserving of another one. So yeah, again, the question is, do you want me to change the items? Do you want me to make them normal items that have a singular purpose, maybe give them that additional purpose of being able to cash them in, but get rid of the ability, the accidental ability to accidentally, waste these resources as experience bottles? Because I know the hearts are definitely the big one to feel bad about losing, right? Because you need them for the magic crafting system, you need them for the powerful weapon crafting system. They're kind of hard to get, right? Or at least they take a lot of farming to get. So accidentally using one of them is definitely a feels bad moment. But the fragments, I don't know about them. The enchanted diamonds definitely shouldn't be nether stars. The Nexus coins shouldn't be nether stars. Those are the two that I fully agree with. Everything else, I could go either way, right? So again, I just thought I'd ask first before I do irreparable damage to the pack and make it a point of no return. Should I change all the items, or should I just use my best instinct and cherry pick the items, right? So again, change every item that's an experience bottle to not be an experience bottle, so you can't accidentally waste it, but then add something in for you to convert them to experience. Change all the nether star items so that none of them function as nether stars. That's just outright, right? So you won't have easy access to beacons. You will have to do the normal wither trend, although again, you can force them into blocks. You can do however normally you farm the wither and get beacons that way, and they'll just be their own items. And then the enchanted book, that one's definitely a bug, and that one's definitely going to be fixed, right? Because there's some weird stuff that shouldn't be books if you can get books. I really wish you could just blacklist stuff in the crafting. That would make this so much easier. But yeah, those are the three things. Books definitely going to be changed, but that's not going to have a heavy impact. those items are a lot more fringe. There are a ton of experience bottle items, right? Because again, I wanted everything that was used just as a crafting resource to have that dual purpose. If you no longer need to craft with it, you can easily cash it in for experience. Again, we'll add a secondary step, right? A villager trade is what Alpin suggested, but I'm thinking a multi-block structure where you can just dump stuff in it and it will spit out experience. Maybe spit out actual experience bottles, right? So that way you can still stockpile them. Or maybe you throw in glass as well and you get experience orbs and then they convert to bottles, something like that. And then the nether stars, right? The easy to access ones, most definitely going to be changed. But should I just, while I'm at it, change everything, right? But again, it would most likely break the pack because I really don't think it's worth taking the time to write out, check the player's inventory if they have this, give them this item, go through, find all the lore data and convert it all. That's the best thing to do, right? Best practice to do, but that would set back the entire pack, a week, 2 weeks, something like that. I'm still doing the season system, all right? I'm meant to be working on bosses. I really want to get the pack done by 1.21. So yeah, let me know what you think, right? Again, any suggestions, any and all are welcome. Bugs, definitely welcomed, right? So much in this pack to test. So if you can do some of that, if you find anything, please let me know. And then suggestions, feel free, right? Anything that comes to mind, anything that would fit the pack, as long as I can think of an easy way to implement it, we'll do it. Hope you enjoy. See ya.